Once upon a time, in a small village, by the edge of a deep green forest, there lived a young boy named Samir. Samir was known by everyone in the village, but not for the best reasons. Samir loved to trick people. He thought it was funny when he tricked his friends, his family, even strangers who came to the village market. But as we will see, that habit of tricking others would one day lead him to a very important lesson. One bright morning, Samir thought of a new trick. He decided to pretend he was in danger. He walked to the center of the village, put on his sad face, and shouted, "Help! Help! There's a monster chasing me." The villagers came running. They grabbed their sticks, shovels, and even pots and pans. But when they got there, Samir started laughing. "There's no monster. I tricked you all," he said, giggling. Some of the villagers smiled, but others were annoyed. They had come all that way, worried and ready to help, only to find it was all a joke. They shook their heads and returned to their work. A few days later, Samir thought of another trick. This time, he ran to the village crying, "Help! My house is on fire." The villagers rushed over with buckets of water. But again, when they got there, Samir was laughing. "There's no fire. I tricked you all again." This time, the villagers were not amused. They warned him, "One day, Samir, if you are really in trouble, no one will believe you. It's not wise to lie and trick people about serious things." But Samir just shrugged and laughed it off. Then one evening, when the sun was setting, Samir decided to walk by himself near the edge of the forest. The trees grew thick and dark, and strange sounds echoed through the woods. Suddenly, out of the shadows, a real monster appeared. It had glowing red eyes, sharp claws, and a voice that rumbled like thunder. Samir was terrified. He screamed as loud as he could, "Help! Help! There's a monster!" But this time, the villagers just kept on with their work. "It's just another one of Samir's tricks," they said to each other. "He's trying to fool us again." No one came to help. Samir kept calling, but his voice grew weaker and weaker. Just when Samir thought he was done for, an old man from the village who happened to be nearby heard his cries. The old man rushed over and saw the monster. He bravely picked up a stick, waved it in the air, and shouted, "Shoo! Go away, you terrible beast!" The monster backed off, frightened, and eventually disappeared into the woods. Samir, trembling, looked up at the old man and whispered, "Thank you for saving me." The old man looked at him and said, "Samir, do you see now why we shouldn't lie? If we lie too much, even when we are telling the truth, no one will believe us. You lost the trust of the village because of your tricks." Samir nodded, his face red with shame. He walked back to the village with the old man, and as they entered, Samir apologized to everyone he had tricked before. "I'm sorry," he said. "I've learned my lesson. I promise never to lie or play tricks like that again." The villagers saw that he was truly sorry, and after some time they forgave him. Samir never played tricks again. From that day on, he was known not as the boy who played tricks, but as the honest boy who always told the truth. As Samir lay in bed that night, he thought about how close he had been to real danger. He felt thankful for the lesson he had learned and closed his eyes with a smile. Good night, dear listener, and remember, honesty is always the best policy. Sleep well and let your dreams be filled with kindness and truth. Good night.